been teasing us on social media, showing us that you're reading your lines. We know people are coming back. We've got new faces. For you, when it's season 19, like what do you get excited about? I mean, we know what we're excited about as viewers, but what are you so excited about this new season?
I think what I'm most excited about is we have a bunch of new cast members and they're awesome. I love them. They're really dynamic and they're super talented and they're kind and they're funny. And they've each got kind of a really distinct perspective and they play well together. And I think it just has like a really fresh vibe this year. So I'm loving it. Everybody's been over to the house. It's like a good group of humans. And I think one of the things that we really appreciate on this show is that we've been on for so many seasons that you really start to understand that like your work life is your life to a certain extent. Like you want to leave it at home, leave it at work, but also you're with these people for so many hours. And so you really kind of get to decide what kind of vibe in your life you want to have with the people that you work with.
Don't kill anyone or drop anything inside a patient.
Now, are you and Kai, the character, going to make a relationship work? What's going to happen? Are we going to work it out? I need to know. Is Amelia finding love? What's happening?
It's Grey's Anatomy, so we will never know, and any love story can always end in flames or pick up from the ash. You don't know, but I will say that ER Fight Master, who plays Kai, is back this year, and so we will be resuming that story at some point in the season.
Does Amelia want that? Like, want that relationship? Is that what we'll see her searching for this season?
I mean, again, I don't know where they're going, but at the beginning of the season, like we kind of left off in a really kind of sweet, hot space with them. There was kind of some question about whether they wanted thing in life and they kind of thought maybe they didn't, and there was this very dramatic breakup. And then like in the last episode at the last minute, they showed up to kiss them. And so we're kind of picking up, I think it's like 6 months later. And so we're picking up and seeing where they're at. And I'm sure they'll continue to find their way through.
Well, we want to see it.
I don't know what they have. Yeah. It's a pretty hot ship.
And I love it. And you're, like you said, it is Grey's Anatomy, so we never know what's gonna happen, which makes it so good.
The bus flipped over. We have a number of patients who have brain injuries. This just got super real.
Where do we find your character? Can you at least say like where we find your character this season? You said it's 6 months later, but like where does that start?
Well, let's see. Okay, so where she had left off last year was Meredith and Kai and Amelia were all working on this Parkinson's case study. And so that was what was happening last year for Amelia. This year, I mean, it's kind of a cool, I like what's happening with the kind of young cast that's coming in, because I think Amelia's really kind of stepped into her authority at this point. And she's kind of, in a leadership role, and she's got these kind of fresh young faces who are all excited to do medicine, and she really, I think, has found her groundedness and is kind of in her power, and she's kind of really embodied. And I think that authority, she's got a heart of gold, so it's a kind authority, but it's kind of she's stepped into her adulthood in like a really beautiful way this season, I think.
I see something in them. The spark. The drive, the genius.
I know that there's been a lot of talk outside of what's happening on the show, and I know that Ellen has pulled back, but what does that look like for the show?
I mean, I think one of the brilliant things about Grey's Anatomy is that the structure is so tight. Like from the pilot on, it was a pretty flawless, like bulletproof pilot. And I think Shonda Rhimes did such a good job of like weaving together. It's a great show.
It's a great show. And you can say it. We know it is.
So, and I think it appeals to so many people, but in part because there have always been these really dynamic relationships and dynamic people. And so, and it's always been an ensemble. And it's always been that you can kind of connect with this character, or you can connect with this character, and maybe it's this character now and then that character in another season that you connect with. But it's always stayed, it moves. There's kind of, it ebbs and flows, and there's kind of plateaus and valleys for different storylines. And so I think as Ellen is kind of moving into other things, there's already characters that everyone's still connected with. And then there's these new people who are coming in who are so exciting, and we're really establishing their backstories and finding some cool stuff. So I think it's, I don't know, I think it's, I mean, it's like an ongoing life story in a community.
Last question I will ask you, just to be clear, this is not the last season, right? Like, is the magic going to continue?
I mean, I would be shocked if it was the last season.
Okay.
People seem to love it. And it's like, I think we've all become family to people. And so they don't want to, they're not like, okay, well, I'm done. I don't need to know what happens to that person anymore. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, if you guys want to keep tuning in, we're here for you.
Yes, we are family. And I expect an invite next time you invite the family over.
You're so invited. We had like a cool reptile party. There were like lizards and turtles and stuff. It was fun.
Well, I'm in.